Champ talk, shooting shots, they just want me to fade. But my game made when I'm getting buckets today. Crossover, pull up, bet you fall for the hezzy. Game 7, prime time is butterflies on your belly. Now can you do it? Folding under the pressure, boy, can you do it? If you going, show 'em who better. Don't let the game slip and don't get caught in the lights. Crown me, yeah, Jordan taking off on the
Baby,
flight.
give me all the rings right now, we the champions. We the champions. I do my thing right now and it can't be done. They said it can't be done. Give me all the rings right now, we the champions. We the champions. I do my thing right now and it can't be done. They said it can't be done.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another episode, another show, Morning Hustle presented by Open Gym, Philly Sports Network in Metro Philadelphia. I'm your host, AB, and I'm glad to be back. I know it's a day later than usual. Had to get some things together and stuff. Eagles on bye week, but even though the Eagles on the bye week, there was a lot of different things that went on throughout this week in the realm of sports and entertainment. Man, appreciate everyone being here once again for another episode of the Morning Hustle, presented by Philly Sports Network, Open Gym, and Metro Philadelphia. I'm your host, Aaron Bell. Once again, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell somebody, man, to subscribe. They help us all continue to bring great content like this. This beautiful company bring great content such as this each and every day to you. We got a lot to get into. Even as of right now, we had some breaking news right before the show started. But before we even get to that, we all know our Philadelphia Eagles were on a bye week last week, but we're back. We're back, people. We're back. This week, the Philadelphia Eagles go and face the Cleveland Browns this weekend. But before we even get into that, as you all know, Major League Baseball playoffs is in full effect. Red October is in full effect. Our own, well, not I say our, because we got a lot of people here, but especially our own Philadelphia Phillies are in the playoffs, the NLDS to be exact, playing the New York Mets. And tonight, Tuesday, we got Game 3 of the NLDS tonight, and we have Nola on the mound tonight. Let's see who the Mets have on the mound tonight as well. But while I get that, like I said, the Phillies, they play tonight, it's afternoon rather, early evening, 5 p.m. against the Mets up in Queens in New York, with Nola on the mound. We all know how Game 1 went. A great. And I know y'all probably thinking like he talks baseball too. Absolutely. I'm not gonna say act like I'm a baseball aficionado or I know the ins and outs to the core of the game. But I mean, as a fan, me personally, diving into baseball, in the early 2000s when the Phillies, on their run with the Ryan Howards and Chase Utleys and Jimmy Rollins and Shane Victorinos and guys like that, for sure. Man, it was that's what would draw me in. So I know a little bit of baseball, and we can talk about everything over here. So the Phillies tonight, this afternoon, 5:00, we got let's see. So pitching tonight, we got Aaron Nola, obviously for the Phillies tonight. We got Sean Mania for the Mets, a left-handed pitcher for the Mets tonight, who is 12-6 with a 3.47 ERA. Like I said, against Aaron Nola tonight, who is a little bit of a switch around this year. Obviously, we all know Game 2 it went to Sanchez over Nola, who usually do the same too, but the splits between home and away. It was a better I guess, formula to have Sanchez pitch home than have him pitch down in New York, and versus Aaron Nola being there. We all know is a vet, calm, cool, collected most of the time, doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. Definitely, somewhere I guess a topper will feel a little more comfortable, send it to the mound in New York. But like I said, I know I didn't speak about it because it started over the weekend. So we're going to backtrack just a little bit with the Phillies. Obviously, game one, sensational night by Willer. Excuse me, sensational night by Willer. 7 innings, 110 pitches, scoreless innings at that. Left the field, only not giving up any runs. We had a 1-point lead, by Schwarber, obviously. Left the field, and then we all know what happened. Bullpen came in the last 2 innings, especially just the 1 inning by itself in the 8th inning. Matt Hoffman, that's what it was. Matt Hoffman comes in, basically did, and then after that it was Strom as well. Supposedly our best 2, one of our top 2 guys, as far as bullpen guys who you would think come in, finish the job, and get that win for us. But as you know, over the weekend they lost. They gave up 5 runs within just that 1 inning alone. The Mets come back and win that game. Heartbreaker, especially after a night like that. Like I said, 7 clean, scoreless innings from Willer. Like I said, we all know Zach Willer is a workhorse, 110 pitches. He did what he's supposed to do as an ace. We have a bona fide ace, and going up against his old team at that, who's basically gave him away. They didn't want to re-sign him, and that's how we got him. So, seeing that, and then the bullpen come in and blow it, definitely was crusher. Definitely put in some angst. Definitely put in some, doubt in our minds as far as are we going to win this game? Are we going to win this game? Should we win this game? The last 2 years start to, trickle into your mind. Obviously, even though the Houston team, we all know we even though we got to the World Series, we all know they were the better team. But did we have our chances to win? Absolutely. But even more so last year, losing to the Diamondbacks was terrible. That was not a good job at all. And in the same fashion of how we lost that first game, bullpen come in, bullpen gets scorched, bats are quiet, things of that nature like that, things that we can avoid, things that we can control, essentially, like that we just didn't do. So all those types of thoughts, all those types of things start to come back and creep back into your mind, where you're sitting there like, man, like, come on, like, not again. And if we lose this game, and then if we lose game 2, we all know you only need 3 wins to move on and advance to the NLCS. But again, all those type of thoughts come to your mind. But then here comes games 2 the next day, Sunday afternoon. The bats lit up. The bats caught fire. Bryce Harper, obviously leading the charge, but obviously the man, the myth, the legend, the cool guy himself, Mr. Understood himself, Nick Castellanos, had a fantastic, awesome, amazing game Saturday. I believe 3 for 4 hits. Doubles, singles, all the home run, back-to-back jacks. It was a home run right after Bryce Harper. So it was a great night game 2. We go on and win that game as well. And that was even sketchy. We still had a little bit of thinking, because once we go up, the Mets were up, controlling the game somewhat, but you didn't really feel all of it. But, once we're down, we get into the late innings. Here come Bryce Harper, boom, home run. Right after that, Castellanos, boom, another home run. So we right back in the game tied up. Then right after that, you go right in and I'll give up a home run. Here come the bullpen again. Come on out. Only a couple innings left. I believe on about 6 hours left. Like, let's just do it. Let's just get over it. Get this. So Topper, before I continue, I want to commend Topper. for making the adjustments this year. Because also in game 2 as well, we all know Alec Bohm hasn't been playing the best at all. So he took the initiative and set Alec Bohm game 2. He didn't play. You had Emmanuel Sosa in there playing third base. So, bringing in relievers at certain times, not leaving them in too long, things of that nature. So I do appreciate the fact that Toppers took past situations because, like I just spoke about, last year against the Diamondbacks and even against Houston the previous year, Topper is he's a player's coach. He or manager rather, a player's manager where he is more of a like of, I'm gonna keep you in there. I'm gonna show that I trust. I'm gonna show that I trust. I'm gonna show that I believe you, and I'm gonna play you. But this year in the playoffs thus far, he showed the ability and the willingness to sit players, take pitchers out or pull bullpen pitchers out early if they are struggling, things of that nature like that. Granted, I believe Sanchez in game 2 probably could have went another inning or two because he was pitching fairly well, getting outs, and he was only at 80 or 88 pitches, I believe, at the time before he got pulled. And I believe the 5th inning, or 5th or 6th inning. But I would be able to see what he got because it was on record as well. Topper has always said how Sanchez, he's a pitcher that, as the game goes on, he gets stronger. And in that game, you could tell, he started off, they was hitting a lot of fly balls early on in the game. But as the game went along, a lot of ground balls, a lot of ground outs. He throwing a lot of strikeouts early. So, strikes early. So it's definitely could have seen him going an inning or two extra. But back to what I was, speaking about, Topper has shown the ability to adjust. In the past, he would just ride with his players, have total belief and faith, and which is not an issue with me. I do believe there's an element of that you can do that, can be successful, that can help certain players. But at times when someone isn't playing well, you have to make the necessary needs because the way Alec Bohm is pitching, swinging right now, and it isn't very good. And it was even evident because he actually came in game 2 to pitch hit and literally swung at the first pitch and popped up. And he was frustrated, mad, throwing his helmet and stuff like that, which is okay. But at this moment, you can't have this. So Alec Bohm is back tonight, game 3 for the NLCS. So Topper's going back to his guy, which I believe is the right move as well. Bringing him back and just let him know, like, listen, that game. But we have, like I said, believe we have a lefty on the mound tonight. So definitely another. Is it 2 lefties tonight? Yes. So we have a lefty on the mound tonight. Let's see. So like the projected lineups for tonight against the Mets is going to be Kyle Schwarber, obviously DH, but leading off, Trey Turner at shortstop, Bryce Harper at first, Nick Castellanos right field, Alec Bohm, JT Realmuto, Mundo Sosa at second base, so no Stott tonight. So that's potentially there'll be no Bryson Stott tonight. We'll get to him in a second as well. So Sosa getting another run at it possibly. Let's see. We have Austin Hayes in left field. So it looked like also it might be no. Okay, yeah. So Austin Hayes in left field, and then Johan Rojas might be potentially playing tonight as well. Because we have a lefty on the mound. So the righty lefty matchup that Hopper likes to initiate and do. But again, seeing that from Topper, being able to adjust and really realize, what he needs to do, or just overall, just make the changes that need to be made to win. Essentially, it's about winning right now. Baseball, and specifically more so the playoffs, it's about winning right now. You gotta, as a manager, I know players make money. I know players feelings X, Y, Z, but certain situations, you gotta make it. And I know Topper probably talked to Alec, about sitting down and all the things like that nature. So I know things was presented to him prior to it happening. But again, Topper adjusting is definitely good to see. So game 3, like I said, bats came alive. Nick Castellanos, sensational night. What really kept it off, like I said, the birthday boy himself. Like I said, Bryson Stott hit a single as well, bringing, basically adding to the lead that we had before the home run for the Mets to come up again later on, go up again. So good to see the bats going alive. And I've always said, I know pitching matters, but for this Philadelphia Phillies team to succeed, for this Philadelphia Phillies team to win a World Series, it's going to have to come in the eyes of the bats. I know we have Willa. I know we had Nola, Sanchez. I can't even think of his name. I'm about to call him Ruiz, our other pitcher. But either way, I know we have these guys that are there that were good this year. I had some all-star appearances, even the bullpen like Strom and things like that. But this team, we have almost 2 players alone equal up half $500 million in Trey Turner and Bryce Harper, and not on top of the fact that JT's making good money and Castellanos making good money. But it's not even about how much they're making. To me, I'm not even mentioning the money in the aspect of just because they're making money they should produce. It's more so that lets you know how this team is built. This team is built on its bats. This team is built by its offense. When you got guys like Bryce Harper, Nick Castellanos, Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner, those 4 guys alone, you are supposed to produce hits. Granted, at times they get greedy and wants to hit for the fences all the time, but again, you're supposed to produce hits, and that's what this team and that's what this Phillies ball club is made up of. Pitching, yes, you need pitching, but as you've seen so far, just within this Mets series alone, they can get to you. They can get to you, and we only going to go up against even better teams as we progress through the playoffs. You're talking about the Padres in the next round potentially. A lot of teams that can hit the ball. So I believe scoring and hitting is going to be there regardless. So whether you have good pitching tonight, granted, you got a guy like oh my God, I'm so sorry, y'all. You got a guy like Zach Wheeler. Yes, you can have a sensational night like game 1 of NLDS, going 7 innings, 110 pitches, and going 7 scoreless innings and 110 pitches, but you can't count on that every night. And you also can't count on the pitchers under him to be able to produce the same thing that he's producing. So for this Phillies clubhouse to win, they're going to have to hit the ball. I don't care what anyone has to say. The money was invested in the bats for a reason. The bats are going to win us. Bryce Harper is going to lead us. Nick Castellanos, Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner, you guys are going to have to hit the ball. And like I said, the other guys, supporting cast, the Alec Bones, Amundo Sosas, and Justin Hayes, and people like that, you're going to have to produce as well. JT Realmuto. The bats are going to have to come alive. The bats are going to have to find some level of consistency throughout this playoffs. I understand that at times you cannot hit. At times you can maybe go through a mini slump, or it just isn't your game. Maybe 1 or 2 players can go through that. But we've all seen too well within these past couple of years that the Phillies, when they are cold, when the bats are cold, they are cold. And then and do you know what comes after that as well? They on there started pressing. Now everyone is trying to win the game off of one swing after that, and it all buckles down. We literally seen that in the last 2 years in the playoffs. When the bats went cold and no one could produce, they just swing for the fence, and on Bryce Harper as well too. Not saying, and this is not to absolve him because I get back to it as well. Granted, when the bats are cool, I can understand Bryce's mindset of wanting to press and wanting to swing for the fence because he's not getting any pitches at either. But he had terrible at bats as well too, though. But the key to this year, and I feel like we've seen a little bit of it so far, is Nick Castellanos. And it's something interesting that I want to bring up that was said. I was listening to radio one day, sports radio one day. Something that was said that was very interesting to me. And it was very, because again, I'm not saying I know baseball like, watching it since I was 3 or something like that. I'm not going to say that. When I learn new sports, I try to learn as much as I can, the history, everything else like that. But I heard something very interesting, and I believe it was Ruben Amaro Jr., who was a former GM of the Phillies, and he said something that really struck with me, that stuck with me, that really brought me back. Because I don't know, I ain't gonna say I know baseball or even Nick Castellanos that well, but as far as a player, but he said that Nick Castellanos, because I think it was during the season, they were talking about how like he was struggling at the moment. Should we bench him? Should we trade him? I believe it was before the trade deadline and things of that nature like that. He said, Nick Castellanos, you can't trade him. Just give him some time. Let him come back. Let him work himself back. All those things like that. But he said something interesting to me. He said Nick Castellanos literally can change games. Nick Castellanos literally can take over games. Nick Castellanos can literally win series. He said series. And that's the part that clicked in me. Nick Castellanos can win series for you. And it stuck with me for a while. And I always wondered, like, why would he say something as strong as that? Because words like that are said for players like Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge, or Shohei Ohtani, players like that, Juan Soto, players like that are like the top echelon, upper echelon, A++, $300 million, $400 million, $500 million players. I expect that type of speaking on them. But he said Nick Castellanos could literally wreck games, take games over, and win you series. And that stuck with me. And then game 2 in DS really showed some light to me when it comes to that, or at least had me thinking about that phrase, because Nick Castellanos, if you didn't know, has been put in the cleanup spot, which is the 4th hitter, usually behind your best hitter in the lineup, which in this case is Bryce Harper, which in the past, I believe it was, they tried a few players. I believe it was JT at one time that was there. Bohm was there at one time as well. I think JT was the last person that was betting cleanup. They moved him down to Nick's spot, and Nick is now cleanup in 4th. And, like I said, if you don't have and in baseball, if you don't have a good cleanup hitter right after your best hitter, not saying they got to hit home runs, but that can move the players or move people on base, especially in this case with Bryce Harper, who the Mets are egregiously pitching around him. And Nick Castellanos essentially has been making them pay this whole series so far, this whole playoff series so far. And it started, I want to say about 11 to 15 games prior to even the playoffs even starting, that he started on this trend of hitting, who's been our most consistent hitter going into the playoffs. And when I seen that, okay, they're pitching around Bryce so far, and every time Bryce is on base from a walk or, maybe in a single or something like that, getting on, he's moving them. He's moving them along, getting them to second base, getting them to third base, hitting home runs, getting them home, stuff like that, which is very good to see and very pleasant. I feel like it ignites the team, and you've seen it in game 2. And now you're forced to at least give Bryce something, and as you see in game 2, Bryce will make you pay. Bryce is a great hitter, and a lot of it is that pitchers don't pitch to him. Pitchers don't pitch to him. And then now you have a guy like Nick Castellanos that's hitting as well as he's hitting. Now you have to think, should we pitch around Bryce? Because you got Nick right behind him that's going to be that if you're being real, is hitting well right now. It's hitting very well right now. And I feel like it feeds to the team, because also once he hit his homer and helped us, Bryson Stott right behind him makes a play as well. You know what I'm saying? So it feeds off. This is why I say the bats have to win this World Series, because when the bats are going, I truly believe when this Philly lineup, and this was out Trey Turner too right now. We just talking about Bryce, Nick Castellanos, and some of the complimentary players hitting things here and there, and obviously the veteran Kyle Schwarber. When the bats are hitting for the Philadelphia Phillies, I honestly believe that no team can match with us. And we can match with any team. Absolutely. When the bats are going, we have that much firepower. You do not pay $500 million to two players and almost $1 billion in payroll overall, and most of that to hitting. You don't pay that kind of money if you don't believe that they can produce the power that it produces. And it is so evident. They never quit. They fought. And I believe a lot of Philly fans today will be juiced up, ready to go, feeling good about the game coming up, knowing that, we got a chance now. It was 1-1 going back to New York. And if they can go up there and at minimum, at worst, split and come back home and finish it, that's a win. But one game at a time. I know the fans feel much better, because if you're talking about going up to New York 0-2, down 0-2, or even if you won it and you didn't and the Phillies didn't display the type of offensive prowess that they displayed just now in game 2, rather, I should say, I don't think everyone would feel as good as they feel. So big ups to the Phillies getting that win. 1-1 going up to Queens, I believe the MetLife Stadium is in. It should be a good one. 5:00 tonight. Aaron Nola's on the mound. Like I said, Alec Bohm back in the lineup. Amundo Sosa, it looked like the projected lineup so far is that he's going to be playing second base over Bryson Stott. So we got a little bit of a change up in the lineup as well. So, let's go Phils. Let's go Phils. Let's go Phils. Let's go Phils. All right, let's move on. So we got, like I started off this broadcast, Eagles, we're back. Eagles, we're back. Eagles, we are back. Welcome back from the bye week. It's officially prep week. It is a Tuesday. October 8th at 11:28. Eagles should be at the facilities. They should be prepping for games, getting ready for practice, things of that nature like that. Play the Browns this weekend. All right, I mean, where we left off at, we all know Smitty injury, Devontae Smith injury, AJ Brown injury has already been confirmed and reported that unless something major happens, both guys will be back. Devontae Smith and AJ Brown will be back this week, so that's good. Look like the whole offense, for the most part, will be fully healthy again. So Lane Johnson should be back as well, who also missed the last game 2 weeks ago. So Lane Johnson, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Becton play, Saquon, all those guys will be back. So it looks like the offense will be fairly healthy coming into this week. And we're going to need it. We're going to need it. We play the Browns this week. And if you want to, get into as far as the opponent, let me say this. The Cleveland Browns has gotten whooped on the whole NFC East. Cowboys, Giants, and Redskins. Cowboys beat them 33-17. The Giants beat them 21-15. And the Commanders beat them 34-13. So they haven't all year, they haven't even cracked 20 points. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In 5 games, they have scored in succession 17, 18, 15, 16, and 13. And the game that they scored 18, they beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. That was on 13 points. If the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Nick Sirianni, Howie Roseman, Vic Fangio, whoever, if you go down at the link this week and lose to the Cleveland Browns coming off a bye week. Deshaun Watson playing terrible. No Nick Chubb possibly. He has been activated, so it's possible, but no Nick Chubb. Amari Cooper is in trade rumors already. If you don't go out there and beat the Cleveland Browns, we are going to have an issue. Supposedly, the two bottom feeders of the teams of this division, Commanders and Giants, even though the Commanders are leading the division right now, but coming into this season, the Commanders and Giants are supposedly has been the two bottom feeders of this division, can go to Cleveland for the Giants and Cowboys, Commanders at home against Cleveland, and go and win. And pretty much handily, as far as controlling the game for the most part, getting sacks, getting interceptions, moving the ball on the ground, moving the ball through the air, not giving up sacks. Jaden Daniels for the Commanders, he dang near had a perfect passer rating against them. If they are here in Philadelphia, Lincoln Financial Field, Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson come in here and beat our Philadelphia Eagles, we have serious issues. I should see sacks. I should see pass deflections. I should see interceptions. I should see pressures. So I'm talking to all the guys. So this bye week, I truly hope and pray that the Philadelphia Eagles coaching, upper management, players took this time out to really assess what needs to be corrected offensively with your quarterback and your receivers, defensively with your defensive line, your linebackers, and then individually as players. Not going to name them. We've been naming them all week, so they know who they are. You know who played well. You know who didn't play well. You know where you need to clean things up at. Come out of this bye week refreshed, hitting the ground running. We talking about the link. It's going to be fired up. It's going to be rocking. We didn't have football. We done had almost too many buys already, starting the season off on a Friday in Brazil against the Packers. So we had a week off there when that Sunday came, and then having this bye right now. So these Eagles fans are going to be rabid, and you cannot come out and blow a stinker. We cannot. The same turnover issues can persist from Jalen Hurts. The same inconsistencies from the offensive line. The same decision-making from your head coach. The relationship between head coach and offensive coordinator. These things have to be cleaned up. The sloppy play. I said turnovers, illegal formations, penalties, slow starts, no pressure on the quarterback from the defensive line, can't stop the run, linebackers getting beat, not tackling. If these same issues continue to show up, we have serious issues. The Philadelphia Eagles are playing a very dangerous game. Not only with this season, but even with this fan base, because we all know that this fan base can turn when it's just like the same old, same old. Prime example. Last year, Sixers, playoff time, New York Knicks. It was the big fuss, the big talk about the simple fact that, the Knicks came down and took over the arena. That's partially from the team's fault, from their play. And then also, obviously, Joel Embiid being hurt, coming back a little early, not being himself. It was just when the team when the fans are wavering on the fence or just overall over you, things like that can happen. So you talking about a week without football, knowing how we looked going into the bye week, even though we won a game, lost a game. You cannot come into this game starting slow. All the different things that has transpired previously. It cannot continue. It cannot continue. It just cannot. They have to come out fast. They have to come out with a lot of fervor, energy, and not even that, it is the Browns. You should go out there and beat them. I just told you the whole NFC East whooped on them. But to continue this on throughout the season, it's a long season now. We had a bye week in week 5. Week 5. So you're telling me we got about what? 12 games left in this season. So 12 straight games, not including the playoffs, we have left in the season. And it only needs to get better and better as each game go by. As each game goes by, it should only get better and better. So if we're talking about after the bye week, 12 weeks left. You got the Browns. Got a division rival the next week, Giants. Then you have the Bengals. Then you have the Jaguars. Then you got the Cowboys and Commanders back to back. Then you got the Rams. Then you got the Ravens. Then you got the Panthers. Then you got the Steelers. Then you got the Commanders. And you end the year off all 3 games being division games. The Eagles end this season all 3 division games. Washington, Cowboys, and then Giants. So the schedule the easiest part of the schedule is now complete after 5 weeks. The Eagles' easiest part of the schedule is now complete after 5 weeks. I just named you all those teams. Browns, Giants, Bengals, Jags, Cowboys, Commanders, Rams, Ravens, Panthers, Steelers, Commanders, Cowboys, Giants. So even the NFL scheduled it to where you're going to have to play late in the game, in the season. Because now we're talking about 3 games at the end of the year that possibly can decide number 1 seed in the conference, number 1 seed in the division, home field advantage, first round buys. The schedule doesn't get any easier as the season goes along. So this is the time the Eagles need to get themselves together. I'm not sure what they have done, what they need to do. But specifically, and let me say this. I know I spoke about the offense earlier, Jalen Hurts, things I need. I do believe, and I do believe in this fact. This is actual fact. missing A.J. Brown and then ultimately Devontae Smith hurt Jalen Hurts, hurt this offense overall, hurt the play calling as well. So I do believe once guys like that are back, when you have playmakers like that, even a guy like A.J. Brown, who I believe, my opinion, top 5 wide receiver in this league, explosive plays, yak, touchdowns, receiving yards, catches, all those things. He does everything. I believe top 5, someone like that back in the fold, back in the offense, definitely is going to help tremendously. Because we all know Jalen has a trust with AJ, so it helps tremendously. So I do believe the offense will play better. And you still have Saquon Barkley back there. So the offense will play better. So that's more so of a Jalen Hurts thing as him being consistent as a quarterback. And then obviously in-game coaching decisions by Nick Sirianni and play calling by Kellen Moore. But I want to turn over to the fact of Vic Fangio and his defense. Not sure. I'm on record already saying that I don't believe the defense can get expeditiously better. Can they get marginally better? Can they become an average, maybe an above average defense? Absolutely. That is absolutely achievable. That just comes from just willpower, energy, and just attention to detail, what you have to do. But thus far, it just hasn't shown it. And also, you do have certain players that I believe just isn't cut out for the position that they play. But granted, this is the defense that we have. So what can we do? Not sure. Hey, Salah from the Jets literally just came down. Adam Schefter just reported it. He's been fired from the New York Jets. So Aaron Rodgers get his guy, Nathaniel Hackett, at the interim head coach, most likely who will be moved up to that. I don't know if they need to bring him in, possibly. I wouldn't be mad at it. Why? I wouldn't be mad at it. It can help, possibly. He runs the same similar style of defense, but more of an attacking style. So maybe he can, help in that aspect. Not sure what kind of, he wouldn't be the DC, obviously Vic Fangio there, but bring him as make up a position. You're billionaires that make up positions all the time. A consultant or vice president or assistant DC coach or whatever. Something has to be taught, because the 12 yards off the ball by the corners, only rushing 4, playing everyone back, can't get no pressure, praying and hoping and wishing Bryce Huff have any type of success going forward. This reminds you of the Topper thing, believing in the players too much to the detriment of your team. Something has to happen. And I look at no other game other than the Cleveland Browns, who's been the most sacked, almost the most sacked team in the game this week, to try to correct those type of things. It has to. This has to be the week we come out and you see a difference. You see some changes. Just heard, obviously they opening the practice window for Sidney Brown, so you be getting some depth help from there. Maybe playing I'm playing more of the younger corners. Maybe trade deadline is coming up. Can you acquire somebody? Can someone be moved anywhere to make this team better? Because this defense has to get better. They have to. If the Eagles want any chance of this season, for this team to make a real try and a real run at a championship, this has to happen. So, like I said, within the past 5 weeks for the Browns, Deshaun Jackson, so I swear to God, if we don't get no pressure or sex on Deshaun Watson, I'm gonna be so upset. This past week, these 5 weeks alone, from Deshaun Watson. He's been sacked 26 times in 5 weeks. 26. Washington sacked him 7 times. And you know the irony of this as well? I told you the NFC East, they all put a pounding on Deshaun Watson. Pause. This week, their games against him when they beat them, all 3 of them has the highest total sacks on Deshaun Watson as well in those wins. Like I said, the highest sacks was 6, 8, and 7. 6 from Dallas, week 1. 8 from the Giants in week 3. And 7 from the Commanders in week 5. Jaguars had 2. And the Raiders had 3. 26 times he's been sacked. It's dead last. I ain't even got to look at the stats and know that that's dead last in the NFL. And if it ain't last, it's second to last. 26 times in 5 weeks. Some people don't even get sacked 26 times in a year, let alone 26 times in 5 weeks. On top of that, he's only thrown 3 interceptions. Fine. He has 5 completed touchdown passes. So he's not even like he's airing it out. I'm telling you, Deshaun Watson isn't playing well at all. At all. He's running a lot. He's only completed in 5 games. He's only completing 60% of his passes, which isn't bad. I'm not going to say that, but he's not throwing a lot neither. I mean, he's not completing a lot neither, because you're saying out of 176 attempts, he had 106. He made 106, but like if you look at the game itself against Dallas, 24 for 45. Against Jacksonville, that was his most efficient game, 22 for 24. But then Giants, 21 for 37, 21 for 37. The Raiders, 24 for 32, a little better. 15 for 28 games. So it's like he's not throwing a lot, but he's holding on to the ball as well, because the sacks tell you that right now, 26 times in 5 weeks is ridiculous. So something has to give this week with this defense. Hopefully this is the quote unquote get right game for this defense to be able to maybe start something, get them going, get them whatever they need to do to get themselves going. But this Eagles team better beat the Cleveland Browns. That's absolutely something they have to do. So, like I said, they play this week, 1:00, the Cleveland Browns. For the most part, no injury reports, anything like that. Like I said, they should be practicing today or tomorrow, for sure. Today is Tuesday, so they definitely should be out there today. But yes, Eagles play the Browns this week. Definitely should be a game they should win, and just overall, just be able to keep up with the division. I just told you they beat the Browns already, and this past weekend, all 3 of our division teams won. So the standing wise, if we lose, we possibly could be last in the division. Could you imagine that? Being last in the division, in this division, and you got this roster. Granted, injuries early on, but yeah. So the Eagles this week. The Eagles this week definitely need to get right, need to get it right, need to play well, need to get right for this season to be a successful one. Start stacking wins, because I told you the schedule, it don't get no easier. it ain't getting no easier to for this season. So moving on. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. NBA is back, everyone. NBA preseason has begun. NBA preseason has begun. So glad to see that. So glad for them to be back. No Joel. They actually did. Our Sixers played last night. No Joel Embiid. No no Joel Embiid. No Paul George. Thank you. But he looked real good sitting on that sideline, everybody. He looked real good sitting on that sideline. He's not dressed, but he just here in Philadelphia sitting on the sideline. You know, can't wait to be like, sub. Oh no, and he ain't no sub. He's starting at small forward, 6'8", from California. Paul George, woo, that's gonna feel good. But either way, no Joel Embiid, no Paul George last night. Definitely would have wanted to see them, but we understand what's at stake this year. They have to win the playoffs. Second round specifically. It's championship or bust. I know people say the second round, get to a conference final. I would love to see go to a conference final, but I need a championship. Conference final, I will accept, but to an extent, because if we're in the conference final, again, with this team, I believe we can be anybody. So if we're in the conference final, we need to go to the championship. But other than them, they didn't play. Everyone else essentially did. Even Tyrese Maxey, who only played the first quarter, he played 12 minutes. Sensational. Love what I seen from him, what he looks like. He ended the game with 15 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists. 5 for 7 from the field, 1 for 1 from the free throw line, 4 for 5 for 3. He looks spry. He's still fast. Looks healthy. Looks stronger. Specifically, definitely looks stronger. But still has his speed. The jumper looks even better than what it was. He's displayed a lot of more of the in-action movement type shooting. Maxey, again, every year gets better. I know it's cliche and I know it's his mantra, 1% better every day, but see the progression already. Just in little spurts. He didn't show too much, but we'll see it throughout the year. He showed little progressions in it. Before his three was more of a set shot. Even if it's off of a screen, he has to square his feet up, pull up, and shoot. But a lot of top of the key shots was made as well. A quick release as well. So it looked like he's getting more comfortable with the form of his shot. Is more of a natural thing to him now. Whereas in the past, you've seen Maxey, it was still a lot of like elbow win, look up, keep it straight. You know what I mean? A lot of the formulation of how you're supposed to shoot, and it still was good, and he adapted well. It didn't hinder him from shooting. It wasn't like herky jerky or had a hitch in his shot or anything like that, but definitely is a lot of fluidity. It was 1-3 he made off a screen top of the key where it was just one of them Steph Curry throw-ins where it's like it wasn't a stand and pose. It was just, throw that and it all net, bottom of the net. So he looked good, very good. Couple assists there. I've seen a lot as well with watching the game as well. So that was good seeing that. It looks good. Let's see who else played. Oh, Yabusele. If I messed up his name, I apologize. But Gershon Yabusele, the French national team, who led French national team to a what's that called? Silver medal. Sorry. Led them to a silver medal, famously for, the dunk on LeBron and things of that nature like that. Looks good. He played the whole game. Pull up his stats for you as well. He played the whole game. Yabusele, 16 minutes, well, not the whole game, but 6. He played most of the game because he was in towards the end as well, too, third quarter. But he played 16 minutes. Where you go? Yabusele, 16 minutes, 15 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 3 for 5 from the field. Hit his We hit his 1-3 that he had. He made 2 for 3 for free throw. So yeah, he looked good. Me personally, I felt like, you know, it was good seeing another big body out there, pause, uh, outside of Embiid, because obviously he had Drummond there who looked well as well, doing what he does, double-double machine. He didn't have a double-double, but in the 14 minutes, he had 11.7 rebounds, so he's damn near was close enough. So he's still doing what he does, but like I said, Yabusele looked good. He moved good, shot the ball, he made his one shot, got some contact and ones. He's still filling it out, getting his adjusted team, but seeing him at power forward at one point, but then also he was playing a lot of center as well too. So obviously you see they're trying to get him prepared for that as well, because that might be a small ball situation, which I like as well. Last year we had guys like KJ Martin playing at the small ball 5. But having that versatility, because I still believe that's probably be a part of it as well too. You'll probably have him and KJ out there, or him and KJ and Caleb Martin as well, because KJ and Caleb Martin, I feel like, are going to be two guys that are going to be interchangeable and real flexible and defending a lot of different positions. Let's see. Yeah, Caleb Martin, 6 points for 15 minutes, 6 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. KJ 16 minutes, 6 rebounds, 3 rebounds. 16 minutes, 6 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist. He dang near got the same stat line as Caleb Martin. That's crazy. Kelly Oubre, 11 minutes, 6 points, 2 rebounds. Drummond, like I said, Eric Gordon, it was nice. He hit a 3, a long deep 3 from the middle. Ricky Council looked strong. So, like I said, my takeaway from it, I know it's very premature, small sample size, and it was against the New Zealand Breakers, Australian team. Not a lot of NBA players, if any at all, on there. Like I said, it was just more of a knocking the rust off, getting some live action going on. But they beat the New Zealand Breakers last night, 139-84. It's preseason, so the points don't matter, or win or loss don't matter. But my takeaway from the Sixers preseason game last night: versatility. The team is much bigger. Pause. Longer. Pause again. Very interchangeable. Very versatile. A lot of different players can do a lot of different things. And like I said, the front court depth is there. Like I said, once Joel Embiid is back, Paul George even can probably slide to the 3 to 4 as well at times. Like you said, Caleb Martin, KJ Brown, Gershon Yabusele. I know he won't get too much playing time, but who knows as the season goes along. You have the young center as well that we drafted, Bono. So I love the depth in the front court when it comes to the bigs. The team is very versatile. I love seeing the way they move, hands up, playing passing lanes. I seen people diving on the floor, even in the preseason game. I see the intensity, I see the versatility, and I even see the scoring. We scored a lot of different ways in that preseason game. Again, I know New Zealand Breakers, but I'm just looking at the concept of what I'm seeing from our team and the Sixers in general as far as how they're going to play early on. Like I said, it's a lot of space on the floor. So once Embiid is planted in the middle of the floor doing what he does, around him the talent is way better. I love the fact of the guard depth that we have outside of Tyrese Maxey. You got Kyle Lowry that's there, Reggie Jackson, who played well last night, hitting threes, getting to the bucket. Even the young guy that we drafted the first round, McCain. I know it's a lot about the fingernails and the TikToks. 2.8 million people on TikTok that follow him and stuff like that. I understand that. Listen, I don't care about none of that stuff. As long as you get in here and you make your shot. And he did in the first preseason game. Jared McCain took 27 minutes, so basically most of the game. 27 minutes, 15.7 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 for 14 from the field, 1 for 1 from the free throw line, 4 for 9 from 3. So he knows his role. He's going to shoot a lot of threes. he had 2 offensive rebounds too. Quick, loved it though. Quick release. Seen a couple shots that were just like it was water. Quick. Got the ball out of his hands quick. The defender couldn't even recover fast enough, and it was bottom of the net. I know previously training camp he spoke about, how he practiced on NBA range shooting and farther. This offseason he was basically working on his range because college 3, NBA 3, 2 different threes. And then obviously in the NBA is even farther than that. We got people shooting from logos. So he's been practicing on his range with that, and he's looked comfortable so far. Moving without the ball. Defense is going to be somewhat of an issue in this early stage. But we said the same thing about Maxey, and he's become more scrappy, stronger to be able to take on the punishment as well. So, that only comes, through the years of being in the NBA. So I'm not necessarily worried about that, as long as he's had the capability of working on it. But yeah, that's going to be maybe a little bit of downfall that keeps him off the floor. But I definitely see a role for him that can be on there. Absolutely. Like I said, Reggie Jackson, like I said, he played 9 minutes. He had 15 points, 2 assists. So he didn't need to see Nick Nurse didn't need to see much from him either. Took him out fairly quick. He was on fire early, getting to the bucket. Like I said, beating people, shooting the 3. So that's good to see. Kyle Lowry played 9 minutes. He had 5 assists. So I love the guard depth. I love the fact how interchangeable, like I said, from Maxey to Kyle Lowry to Reggie Jackson to McCain, even though he won't be a ball handler, but just guards in general that can score the ball or ball handle. So you got 3 that can ball handle. Then you got McCain, got Eric Gordon, shooters, Caleb Martin, another shooter. So the depth on this team is very good, and you've seen it front and center last night on the preseason. So I look forward to this NBA season that's coming up very soon. Let me see. That's the New Zealand Breakers that they played so far. Who we have coming up next? So we have coming up. So we had the Breakers. So on the 11th we got the Timberwolves. Let's see if Ant plays that day, but we all know that Julius Randle is there now. No Karl Anthony Towns with the Timberwolves anymore. So you got the Timberwolves on the 11th. Then we got the Celtics, who Jaylen Brown been looking good early on this season as well, preseason. Then we have the Hawks, the new Hawks, the Nets, and then we have the Orlando Magic to finish out the month of October. Then right after that, we just on and popping, everybody. The NBA season is here, and we ready to go. And I can't wait. I'm excited for this season upcoming. So here we are. Sports is back, baby. Sports is back, and we back in the fact, and I'm happy. Everything is live. We got Red October happening. Let's go Phillies. We got the Eagles coming off the bye week. Y'all better come out and beat the Browns. And then we got the 76ers preseason action. 76ers season is around the corner. NBA season is around the corner, and I cannot wait for this to happen. And we gonna be here for the ride, for all these things, the ups, the downs, the mad, the happy, the sadness, the elation, the joy, everything that comes with sports. We gonna have a good time bringing it to you. Like I said, got people down there at the Sixers facility, Eagles facility, things. So we have people coming in, giving us inside scoops, information, what's going on down there at the arenas, at the fields, at the clubhouses, at the ballparks, whatever it might be. We're going to have all that for you and much more this upcoming season. Again, I appreciate you guys stepping in. It's the Morning Hustle with AB. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. Tell all your friends to come on through and have a good time with us. Also, like I said, make sure the call-in line, leave a message, comments, concerns about Red October with the Phillies, the Eagles after a bye week, the Sixers upcoming season, whatever you want to talk about, call that number right there at the bottom of your screen, 484-519-1495. And we're going to have a ball this season, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. And this has been your boy AB, Open Gym, Morning Hustle, Philly Sports Network, Metro Philadelphia. And until next time, people, it's your boy AB, and we're out of here. Yes, sir.